Welcome, people of YouTube, whoever is watching this. Today we're going to be looking at the sign of Gemini. Just like lit my candle, I'm gonna like smudge a little bit and see what we're going to come up with. I was meditating on Gemini as a whole before I came in and started doing this. It was really interesting to me how things got presented. So, the first thing that I saw was Gemini like being there and kind of looking out at the world, and a lot of energy about, I would say, the father. It was definitely male energy, dominant energy, and so it could be the mother, but I think it's like more like father kind of energy. And a lot about trying to control you. It felt to me like Gemini is trying to find their place in the world. I was going to say find their place in the sun, which is interesting because we are in Gemini time period right now. So the sun is in the sign of Gemini, right? So it's interesting that Spirit wants to come out like that. So first there was all of that, and then right, there's a lot going on, and it just keeps like kind of jumping in at my head. So in the tarot, the sign of Gemini is the Lover's card. So it does show a man and a woman on the card. And I'm just going to see if I can locate that here for visual reference. Where are you? There you are, Lovers. So the Lover's card, right? Man or woman. So I was kind of focusing on this as not as a theme really, but to kind of tune in to your energy, right? And as I was tuning in, it came in very much as like the male and female guides for the sign of Gemini, right? And it felt like Gemini was being guided a lot by the male aspect, right? And it doesn't matter if you are male or female, because what it felt like is that there was being some kind of a struggle with Gemini about the balance between the male and female energy, right? And everybody has male and female energy, no matter what anybody says about that. The left side is female, the right side is male, and people who are bisexual usually have trouble with the hips because the hips represent the male and female energy and how that is balanced, right? So there's that. So it felt like the male energy was honing in and kind of guiding and helping Gemini to find their place in the sun, to be their own self, to step out into being more of their own person. And it felt like there was a lot of people coming at you to, the word that I'm hearing in my head from Spirit is clamoring, right? A lot of people kind of coming at you, clamoring, and trying to get your attention, trying to use you, trying to very much like psychic vampires. So yeah, a lot of people trying to use you for your energy, for your power, for your mind, basically, for whatever it is that you could give them in any way, shape, or form, right? So, and then Gemini trying to get away from them and trying to be on their own, to go on their own path, stuff like that. It reminded me kind of a Saturn return, but I think that this has more to do with the whole Pluto thing, because Pluto is very much about transformation, and it's doing a big thing right now. It's being retrograde, and I don't claim to be an astrologer. I tell people I know enough to be dangerous. Like my guides know about astrology, so sometimes they tell me things like that, but I try not to speak about it too much, because I am more psychic than an astrologer. So there's that. And it felt like the female counterpart, going back to the meditation, felt like the female counterpart that guides Gemini as a whole is out looking for the I want to call it the perfect counterpart, right, for Gemini. So if you are looking for relationships, or needing to have something like that, and so the Lovers card to me does not really, I don't use it for a relationship, right? I use it as it's ruled by Gemini, and I use it as there is some sort of a quandary that's going on in somebody's life. Unless it specifically tells me, or the cards that come up around it are specifically saying that this is about a relationship. Right? Because see, it's like there's the male there on the, well, as I'm looking at the camera on the left, and then the female on the right. And so it's more about using your female energy to gain more clarity, right? It's about trying to balance those two energies. So I think that is more about what I use this for. So yeah, so there's a lot that goes on like that. Yeah, but I think that this is also trying to find, as I'm looking at the card, I think that this is a lot about trying to find the correct counterpart within yourself as well, not just about somebody who is outside of you, but more, I'm looking for this part of myself that helps me to be more balanced in who I am as a person, right? So hopefully that makes more sense to you. Then it was interesting, because then I found myself looking at the Colosseum back in like the Roman times, and the gladiators and everything like that, and this chariot came like rushing in, and I was like, what are we doing here? So it was very interesting. And then it reminded me that in mythology, the sun is pulled across the sky by the chariot, right? Chariot of the gods, etc. So, and it being, Gemini's time to shine, right? And so as this chariot was being pulled into, the driver coming in, to this like Colosseum, right? The Chariot card is the next card up as far as like the meditation thing is concerned. So that came into light, right? So it's like the Chariot is, it's like looking for direction, right? It's following the sun, it's following epiphanies that you have, it's following your own soul, really, and coming into your own being and being led, right? It's like being led by spirit, being led by, your intuition, by where, like, so when the sun shows up in your chart, it has to do with where you shine, right? The sun and the moon are the brightest lights in the sky, and the sun is very much about that. It's like, it's where you shine in your chart, right? What is your best thing that you should be doing, right? And so I feel like that is part of what is happening right here, is that it's Gemini's time to kind of find out where they're going to live their best life, right, as they would say. And the Chariot card in and of itself is about moving forward, right? But it's kind of interesting because this is a dual card, right? Like the black and the white, right? And so I'm not saying that like the Lover's card is like black and white, but it is a duality, right? Male and female energy, positive, negative, right? But the Chariot card is ruled by emotions. It's ruled by the sign of Cancer. So, and Cancer is all about like their emotions. So as you're moving forward, this is going to be a lot about balancing, how you're moving forward. And, the Chariot is leaving behind this city here. So the driver of the Chariot, right, you, moving forward, leaving behind what is known, going into the place of the unknown. And a lot of times when the Chariot card shows up, it can talk about travel, usually travel by car. However, it is a card that would talk about, when I get it anyway, it would have to do with traveling to other states. So there could very well be, choices coming up here about travel, about where you're going to move to, or if it's like business or something like that, right? Like traveling and where you're going and how you're going to move forward, right? Not just about business, not just about where you're going to live, but like in general, like where are you going, right? That is the question that Gemini is trying to find out, that they're doing this whole like soul searching, right? And I don't think it's going to be given to you by people that you know, right? So in this Colosseum, the Emperor, very telling, the Emperor was not really happy, right? Because the charioteer was being victorious. And not that there was a battle going on, it was like it's really more a battle with the self and how they were moving forward through life, right? And they're in a Colosseum, so it's like everybody's watching, right? And so it's like, how are you going to perform? What are you going to do, right? And everybody in the Colosseum was cheering, right? So you would definitely have a fan club out there somewhere, right? But it is about finding the people who are actually being your fan, right? And not be aware of like fake friends, stuff like that. So the Emperor was not really happy. The Emperor in the tarot represents the father, right? Whoever it is that's in control. Like it could be the mother, but it's like in general, it's about the father, right? It's like whoever it is that's in charge, whoever it is like trying to pull your strings, right? Whether it is the father, whether it's the mother, whether it's your boss, right? Whoever the dominant person is in your life, right? Who is not happy that you are finding your own way, right? That you no longer are there to serve them, right? So, so there is all of that going on, right? And then the other thing, right? The sun going across the sky, right? The sun is ruled by Leo. So, and I was watching as this Leo person came in and was helping you, right? So there could very well be a Leo in your life who could be a partner, right? Could be a relationship. But it could be just somebody, because it felt like looking for somebody that you could have as a confidant for some reason or another, and someone that you could tell your secrets to, and so it felt to me like you're looking for somebody new, somebody different that you could tell like your innermost secrets to, and Leo tends to be all about themselves, more so than Aries, because Leo was the sun and everything revolves around them. However, that being said, this felt like whoever this is was somebody that was caring about you, somebody that had your best interest at heart, right? And somebody who was there to guide you, to help you, right? So with it being about the sun, right, it may or may not be a Leo. It may be somebody that has like a strong Leo in their chart, right? But I would be looking for somebody that basically stands out, somebody that can have a lot of charisma for you, right? Not somebody who's standing out in a crowd necessarily as a whole, but somebody that you feel drawn to, right? Because this is about your intuition guiding you, right? And so you're looking for the sun. You're looking for somebody that can help guide you, somebody that can help you do this, right? So, and it did feel to me like there was something going on about changing jobs, but not necessarily just changing jobs, but it felt to me like it had more to do with kind of like starting your own business or something, stepping out away from the like 9 to 5 kind of a thing, stepping away from whoever the bosses would be, stuff like that, right? Like the emperor type people. And so you're going to find your own thing, right? Like your own place in the sun, becoming more independent and shutting off the droning noise, right? People saying, well, why are you doing that? What are you doing that for? How come you're not doing this? Like, the naysayers, the blessing blockers, as they call them, right? Like all of that kind of like noise. I mean, it's like Pink Floyd, like, leave the kids alone. Something, so yeah, I'm from that era. Can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. Yeah, sorry. Not really though. All right, so let's see what's gonna go on here. Just gonna like shuffle up some cards and see what is happening. We're gonna use it's called the Soul deck. There are oracle cards, and we're gonna start with that and see what comes up for you. Say hello to my little raven, my little friend. So, reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe. By this is Hecate, however it is that you want to say it. She's a goddess, the crone, and she's all about like wisdom. And yeah, so there's a lot of that happening. All right, so the first up. All right, so this is interesting. This is, to me, it's a lot about like the Knight of Swords, which is like Gemini. So this is all about like somebody who is, right. So you really are in a place where you have to move forward in your life, right? But there can also be a lot of things that are trying to hold you back, right? And this is a lot about like wind and the sand coming at you, right? There's a sword here, right? But it is on fire at the end there. So there could be like, again, like a Gemini and Leo sort of a thing going on there. And so the sand coming at this person and kind of eroding, right? And I've never seen it with this card before, but this is what it's telling me today, right? It is a lot about like transformation. And if you look at the face, right, it's like there's all this like darkness that's like being wiped away from him. And so yeah, so there's a lot of change that is sitting here trying to happen with you. Ouroboros. It's a lot, and then there's that seed in the middle there. So this is about kind of like getting untangled, getting off the merry-go-round, right? And it is about change, right? This isn't really the Wheel of Fortune, but it is about like kind of coming. There's a few different cards in this deck that talk about like coming out of a dark hole, coming out of a dark space, right? You can see it's kind of whirling its way out. So so that's good. Ooh. Pisces energy, anyone? So this is basically a very emotional time period as well, or trying to move through an emotional time period. Same as like the Chariot card, right? But this is reminding me of that, like sort of like if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for today. But if you teach a man to fish, then he'll eat for a lifetime, right? So which do you want to do, right? So do you want to work for yourself, right, being given a fish, or do you want to have your own business and eat for your life? Right? So, but this kind of always reminds me of somebody who is somebody who's kind of well, in the past it always reminded me of how somebody was kind of looking in on you, something like that. I'm going through a lot of changes, like psychically these days, and so the way that I read cards, the way that they speak to me, is being different. And so this is like this is Pisces, right? So either Pisces time period or the third month, like March, may have an important meaning to you, right? And so also there are two fish going one direction and one fish going the other direction, right? So it's like, you're going to swim against the tide, or you're going to go with the crowd, whatever you do it, right? But this card is also something that has had like a lot of like sorrow going on, and so it's time, and it's because they've been going round and round and round. So so it is about being able to step out and going into your own thing, right? So again, another card that is about things going round and round, but this to me is like the noise in somebody's head. It's like or it also reminds me of somebody's eye. But it's like the screaming in the head, right? And the pain that somebody's going through internally, so like that trying to work its way out, right? It's all the stuff that has been on the inside. So there's definitely some kind of detox that is trying to happen with you. And this card always tells me about somebody's ancestors, right? It can be, all the voices that go on in your head, right? Being Gemini, ruled by air, the mind, right? Like, I don't have any voices in my head, right? I'm only a medium, that's all. Kidding, sarcasm, right? Roll with it. But this to me is more about how there are a lot of guides. Oh, that was another thing, right? Is that there were a lot of your guides that were kind of coming through when I was meditating. And whenever I see male energy, it is more about like male energy, it's assertion for somebody's like strength and things like that. When I see female energy coming in, it's not that women cannot be assertive. They certainly can, trust me. I know a lot of strong independent women who will tell you where to get off. But female energy is generally like as an aesthetic, esoterically, whatever you want to call all of that, right? Female energy is generally about creative, right? And doing things creative and thinking outside the box and things like that, right? And I'm not saying that you should not be doing that. I definitely think that you should be doing that. That's what this is all about, really, right? Finding your divine counterpart, right? Like looking for the female side inside of you, stuff like that, right? But there also has to be a balance between male and female energy as well. So having the creative, having the having all of that kind of creative energy and thinking outside the box, but then also having like the male energy, the courage, the fortitude, all of that kind of thing, right? To be able to like move forward, to get out of your own way, right? Like all of that kind of stuff. So you have all of these guides around you, ancestors, people like that, who are trying to help you to be at peace. And things like that. So that's what those are talking about. So let's see what the moon cards have to say. So this does look like things are moving forward, but it also does feel kind of like challenging, right? Because it does feel like there are a lot of people who are trying to hold you back, and it just says to me that there has been, in general, right? This isn't like take what you like, leave the rest, right? It tells me that there has been like a lot of like people pleasing going on, stuff like that, and so it's time to like stop that, step out. Full moon in Capricorn. Oh my God. This is the full moon in Capricorn. Full moon is completion of a cycle, right? It's where you're tying up loose ends, things like that. Capricorn is about money, finances. It's a lot about your standing in the community, stuff like that. But this says the ending of a tough cycle approaches, and that's what we're talking about, right? So you've been in this cycle, and now it's time to be done. What's next? What are we talking about? Right? What are we talking about? Waning moon, right? Things leaving. What do you need to release? That's what this card says. I'm sort of disturbed that this is a mirror image of this whole thing, but that's what it says, right? This is a winter scene also, right? So winter is a time when things end. Right? What do you need to release? Right? And you have to know what you need to release in order for this tough cycle to end. Right? What's next? A time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo. Virgo is a lot about being a healer, and that whole thing, that house is a lot about that. A time to give rather than a time to take. Right? But I think that this is more about a time to give to you, right? You giving to you. Right? if it is going to be about giving, right, then this is a new moon, right? So this is new beginnings happening, right? This isn't about like giving to like older people. I'm not talking about like age wise. I'm talking about people that you already knew, right? Like those people, you're leaving those people. This is about going on to uncharted waters, things like that, like places where you haven't been, right? So it's like looking for where you can make a new mark in your life, right? Where are you going to be? What are you going to do? Like because it's not just about, this isn't just about like you finding your place. It is about finding a new niche. But I do think that Gemini does have this thing about, well, what I'm being shown anyway, that it can be a time where you're looking to kind of like, in a weird way, make your mark on the world, but looking for a glow up, as they say. That's a weird expression. So whatever that's all about. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. Again, like things ending, stuff that has to do with like money, finances, things like that. Taurus is stubborn. The earth is ruled by a sign of Taurus. It's like when I see Taurus, it's like, go ahead, try to move me. Right? Like try to move the earth, try to push it. See how far that gets you. Right? This is not a time period to be a bull in a china closet, right? But it is a time to make practical plans. Like the tortoise is what I'm being shown. Slow and steady wins the race, but it's a time of action, right? Not just like standing there. The Knight of Pentacles is a card that is really somebody who moves like slow, right? And but it doesn't mean like don't move. It just means like figure out what you're doing and then go do it. Right? So there is that. A new start, right? And this is what we're talking about. A new start is coming. This is a new moon. New moon in general is about new beginnings. And so that's what it is that we're talking about for you. All right. So let's see what the tarot has to say for you, Gemini. Show me what's up with Gemini. Let's see what we're doing. Spirit shows you looking over your shoulder, right? Looking at the past. And so this is a time period about letting go, right? And every time there is an ending, there is a grieving process, right? But we're talking here about letting things go and allowing yourself to do this grieving process, right? Like what we're not just talking about like letting go of people here, right? We're not talking about, just like kicking everybody out of your life, but we are talking about how it's time for you to let go of things that no longer serve you, right? People, places, things, situations, things that had you going round and round and round, like spin your head, like what am I doing here, right? Like all of this kind of stuff. And the sewer is what I'm being shown. The sewer and like flushing things out, right? Like you don't want, water is about emotions, right? Whenever water comes up in a reading, if water comes up in a dream, if water comes up in a meditation, it has to do with emotions. So if it's an ocean, then they're big emotions. If they're more calm, then it's more calm emotions, right? But like I'm looking right now at basically a sewer. So we're talking about emotions that are stagnant is what Spirit is trying to say, right? We're trying to clear out stagnant emotions. We're trying to clear out stagnant kinds of relationships with people. And we're not just talking about like boyfriend, girlfriend, 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 boyfriend, boyfriend kind of thing. We're not just talking about that, but we are talking about relationships in general that that are stagnant, that are not really like going anywhere, that are like, it's like, I want to do something different. This isn't really like going anywhere for me. But we've been friends for a long time, but we're growing apart now, and we don't really have things in common. I'm having new interests, and this person isn't really having the same interests as I am anymore. They're trying to, they're staying where they are. They're stuck. They're not going anywhere. And I've been evolving, and I've been, going through a lot of changes in my life. So, those are the ones that we're trying to, rip the Band-Aid off, is what I'm being told here. So, yes, let those things go. Time to move on to fresh waters, where you're being fed, right? So I will not be surprised if the Ace of Cups shows up around here, because it is about new emotions that show up, or potentially Two of Cups, because Two of Cups is about like love, but it's also a balance around like relationships as well. So, yeah, so that's what the Spirit is like saying right now. So we'll see what goes on here. Okay. La 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 la. Yeah, I'm an amazing singer. Yeah. Okay. All right. Completion of a cycle. Nines. Nines are completion of a cycle. This is called the Wounded Warrior. This is also a lot about, Wounded Warrior. Like, he has all these wands here, right? To me, it's all about like not going back, right? And you have to be able to move forward. Save yourself. Save yourself. That's what's been like I'm being like yelled at in my head. Save yourself. So yes. All right. Nine of Wands, Three of Wands. Three of Wands, to me, sometimes it can be about like a relationship triangle. This is about somebody who is, technically it has a lot to do with like your ships coming in. It's about like letting go of things, moving on to new territory, right? It's all of that. Threes are a number of creative energy. Right? And see, he's holding on to this third one, letting go of the other two, right? So there used to be a relationship there. And so now he's like, so two wands, two people, right? But now moving on and being like solo, getting out of these like triangle things. So, but like being able to move forward, right? He's wearing all this red, which is very like Aries energy, very Leo energy, very fire, which is all about, fire is all about like, it's kinetic energy. It's all about like moving forward, passion, things like that. Green, all the creative energy, right? So there is kind of like, in a lot of ways, this is a renewing of your energy, right? Going from 9 to 3. The Hermit card, right? Like kind of following your own dreams. The not the candle, the lantern here is the Star card. So it is about like kind of the Hermit card to me is a lot about like being alone, feeling alone, all of this, right? Kind of wandering around in the dark, and like it's ruled by the sign of Virgo, right? I'm a Virgo, and to me it is about people telling you, which was said to you earlier in this reading, what are you doing that for? Why are you doing that? How are you doing that? People questioning your intentions, right? And to me, like the Hermit card is a lot about, oh, you can't do that. It's never going to happen, right? And so my motto is like, yeah, watch me. Right? So this is a lot about like letting go of those people, right? Wandering around. This is the kind of the teacher. It says, whatever you learn, so shall you teach. And it's also a 9, right? So this is a very creative reading here, right? 9s are 3 times 3. So there is that. Temperance, which is ruled by Sagittarius, right? This is about healing. It's about, this is kind of alchemy, right? So it's interesting. I have this other deck that I've been exploring, and it showed up the sign of Aquarius. And so Temperance is Sagittarius, but they are, Aquarius is the water bearer. So so whatever that, it just reminded me of this. But this is a time period about like patience more so with yourself, right? So, but it is a healing time period here as well. 10, 15, what's 14? 14, 1 is 5. 5 is a number of change. Starting a new cycle, being open to all possibilities, right? Taking a leap of faith. Right? And there's a Chariot. I shuffled the cards and like multiple times, cut them, split them, whatever, all kinds of stuff. The Chariot card, being able to move forward, being open to traveling, being open to meeting new people, being open to other stuff. Judgment card, letting things go. Like this is, the Judgment card is about, it's about major decisions and second opportunities. And so in this card, right, it's like Gemini here, right, Gabriel, being called, you're being called into action, right? And so inside the coffin is like your old life, outside the coffin is a new life. You're being called to do something different, right? So again, it's like these two cards like showing up together. We're starting a new row. So this is the ending of a battle. This is like, it's an error in judgment to go backwards. It's like making major decisions to be able to move forward, right? So right, Queen of Cups, this feels to me like I am getting some, like I'm getting a mother energy, somebody that has passed over, somebody who is trying to help you to heal. To apparently there's been like a lot of like relationship damage that has gone on around here for somebody, and so they're talking about healing, and whether it's male, female, doesn't matter, right? This is about like, take it as it resonates, right? Somebody on the other side here as a mother sort of energy, trying to help you. So, and this is the Knight of Wands. This to me feels like it's the same kind of card, right? This one here kind of rushing in, this one here kind of rushing in, right? So this is all about like how you're moving forward, right? And right, so so this is what I'm looking at right now, right? Decisions being made, Queen of Cups, Knight of Swords, this is you, right? Going backwards, right? In the video, it looks like it's moving forward, but in the way it's being in the cards, it's like rushing backwards, right? It feels to me like it's going backwards to kind of like save whoever these people are in your past, right? And you can't save them. That would be a mistake. So it's all about decisions, about being able to move forward in your life. So, because if you are rushing backwards, you're the Hangman card. It creates delays. Hangman card, delays, procrastination, caught between rock and a hard place, right? This card technically is about changing your perspective, right? It's also a 12, which is a 3, right? So another 3, more creative energy going on around here. So it's about, you have the Temperance card here over this, right? So this is all about like healing, right? Balance, and also like it's by changing your perspective that there is this balance energy here trying to happen. Right. Two of Wands, same as like, so Two of Wands to me is a lot about angst, right? And so, like I said, it's like you're leaving the past behind, starting a new cycle, but you also have the Two of Wands, right? Which I was talking about, the Three of Wands, right? Like Two of Wands, like holding on to the past, right? So there can be a lot of angst how you're trying to start a new cycle. This is like somebody who sits at the top of his castle, right? And looking out at the world, but he also has a world in his hand. So the world really is your oyster. It's just about you if you're going to go out and do it. And the two also would come up around like a time period of two, right? Again, more dualities, right? This is a duality, this is duality, right? Like the two cups sitting there, right? That's a duality. There's been a lot of like duality, which is Gemini, right? Gemini, like you're dealing with two different people, right? So the inside, the outside, right? So this to me would also talk about over the course of the next 2 weeks, next 2 months, there is a moving forward here, right? This is somebody who's moving on to, remember, what did I say? Like water, right? This is somebody who is like moving on to calmer waters, moving muddy emotions behind you, right? And so it is kind of, it's kind of depends on you which one you are, right? Are you the people in the boat here, or are you the one who is doing the helping, right? So either way, it's like you're either being helped or you're helping other people to be able to move forward, which is very much about like a healer type person, right? But the Six of Swords in general to me is about moving forward, usually over the course of the next 6 weeks. We are in June time period, and so the 6 comes up usually the next 6 weeks or 6 months, like June time period, like that. Usually it's a shorter time period, so more like 6 weeks rather than like 6 months. And since we are in June, it's probably something that is happening like sooner rather than later. Whatever these opportunities are that are being presented to you, and Spirit says to me that there could also be two different people who are coming in around you, right? Who are like, which is to me is like there's a different kind of partnership that is trying to happen here. This is funny, not really, but interesting, something, whatever, right? Because all during this thing, I'm talking about moving forward and going to distant lands and all of this kind of stuff. Whenever the Two of Swords comes up, it is a card that does have to do with a decision. It's a card that has to do with like trust issues, things like that. But whenever the Two of Swords comes up, for me, it has to do with there's going to be some sort of separation, right? And it is underneath the Chariot card, right? So you are moving forward here in your life. There is going to be some sort of like separation. I have been doing readings for around 30 years now. This is relatively new to be doing them on YouTube, but for a long time people have been like, well, I'm not really planning on like leaving, blah, 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 whatever. It's like, well, too bad. You pay me to tell you what I see, not what you want to hear. So not that I'm being paid here, but if you want to send money to Venmo, that's fine too. I'm open. So yes, there is going to be some sort of like a separation, because this is over. There are, you have like the delays, procrastination, right? But also this card here that has to do, Spirit says inspiration, but it's a lot about like changing your perspective on things, gaining new clarity, things like that. It's not quite the sun or the moon, but the hangman hangs upside down to get a different perspective, right, over the course of the next 2 months, right? And then moving forward, and as you're moving forward, there is going to be this like separation, right? And you do have the Two of Wands here. You have the Two of Swords there, right? So we are talking here about a time period of two, right? Two of Swords, usually, to me, if there's a moon up there, right? So to me, this usually has to do with a 2-month time period. So, you know, as you're moving forward, as you're moving forward here, you are going to be leaving things behind, right? And it will be for the better, not for the worse, right? It may, like Spirit said earlier, right? It's like there can be like this big grieving process going on here, but every time there's an ending, there's a grieving process, right? So we're just gonna pull 5 other cards and kind of see what else, if anything else, Spirit wants to show you. What else? What other messages does Spirit have to say? They are telling me that with the Fool card that it is important for you to be childlike, right? To be able to go out there, to be able to have fun, to embrace your inner child, like all of that, right? Todo eso, all of that. And that with the Temperance card, it could be somebody that is a Sagittarian, or somebody that's a fire sign like that, but Temperance is Sagittarius. There could be somebody who is Sagittarian who is at a distance somewhere who is calling you. They are saying to beware if there is a person, somebody that is in a far off place, not in the same state, not in the same town. If there is a person in a different state, possibly different country, but somebody who's in a different state at least, who is saying like, I need you. Right? Somebody who is trying to be in a relationship with you. They're saying, you know, all this stuff like pleading, right? They're saying like, I know this isn't going to resonate for everybody, but I am being shown here with this like Temperance card, right? That whoever this person is, if they're out there being like, I need you, right? It's like they're again looking for somebody to take their energy. They're not standing up on their own. They're not being their own person, right? It's like you cannot help that person. If you go over there, wherever they are, if you give them money, if you help them out of their situation, whatever it is, right? Whether it's financial or emotional, whatever, right? Then they're not doing it on their own, right? So, and it's not this, whatever the situation is, right? It's not that they can't, right? It's that the Hangman card is a lot about victim, right? And so it's sitting right below the Temperance card here, right? So if this person is out there being a victim, right? You cannot rescue them. It is not your job to rescue them, right? They require mental health help, right? They need to go see a therapist, right? And you are not their therapist. If you were their therapist, you would be in the same state and they would be paying you, right? Whatever this is, it is not a give and take situation. It is like they are taking, right? So where was that other card there, right? So it's time to give rather than to take. This can be talking about whoever that person is, right? So that card may not necessarily be about you. It may be about what you have to tell people. So see what's happening here. King of Water, Poseidon. Ooh, Poseidon. Doesn't that match my shirt? Match the painting that I did up there? King of Cups. King of Cups is usually the card that I use for like husband type material. Somebody who is ruled by their emotions, somebody who's like very giving emotionally, right? And I think that this is somebody that would be a good person, like whether it's male or female. Generally, the king is like male, but generally speaking, right, this would be somebody who is in charge, right? Poseidon is like the king of the water, so and he could very well be a Pisces sign, but Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer, right? But it doesn't have to be those signs. It's just somebody who is ruled by their emotions, somebody who is like giving like that, somebody who is trying to help you, right? Three of fire, three of wands, right? Again, like the ship coming in, moving forward, right? This person here is like moving forward on their ship. They're at the helm, and they're definitely sitting here being in charge. You can see the sun over their head, right? And the look on their face. I don't know if you can see, you probably can't, but they're sitting here being determined, right? This is a ship built for one. So just saying, it's this is the size of Superman's pod that he came to Earth in. So talk about like going to different shores, right? So two of Earth, right? Balance of money and finances, right? The two of Earth is a lot about like trying to juggle money and finances. What am I going to do financially? What am I going to do? Like, and it can be, what am I going to do with my energy, right? Three of fire is like, what are you doing with your energy? But this is usually, it can be a lot about like, whatever you're trying to do to balance your energy. In usual, or in other decks anyway, the one that I have is that this can be a yin yang, right? So it is also a duality, right? And this card is ruled by Jupiter. So it is about thinking bigger, again, thinking out of the box, all of that, right? Three of air, three of swords, right? Sorrow, heartache, right? And so it can very much be about leaving a relationship behind you, right? But it's one that wasn't necessarily working, right? Looking for the one. This is a little bird here, also has a crown on their head. But three of swords is usually, we just did come out of a Mercury retrograde, right? And so three of swords to me is a lot about like the Mercury retrograde, but so we're getting out of that. And so there can be a lot of balancing here, trying to juggle things as we're coming out, because we just came out of this. And so, but three of air is sorrow, but it's usually to me like sorrow due to lack of communication, right? Which in the beginning of this reading, I did say, or Spirit said to me to tell you, right? However, that this was a lot about looking for the person who was going to be your soulmate, the person who you can confide in, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship, but somebody that you could confide in, somebody that you can talk to about things, right? And it didn't feel like it was a therapist person, right? It just felt like it was somebody that you could have like confidence in, somebody that wasn't like being a blabbermouth. Yeah. Those spirits' words, not mine. The Hierophant, right, which is a card of the teacher, which is also a card of commitment, right? This is about traditional kinds of things, right? So if you have been in a relationship that has not been what it is that you wanted, right? Like I said before, like three of wands is a card to me that can talk about a relationship triangle, right? So if you've been in this thing where the person hasn't committed, so sorrow, right? There is this commitment that is coming up here, right? But I think that this is also a lot about you committing to yourself, right? Not committing to all of these other people who were just trying to use you, right? Find your own, where are we at here? Find your own planet, right? I'm going to be a globetrotter, spinning the basketball on my finger. This is the planet where I come from, by the way. Just saying. Ooh, bottom of the deck, the star card, which is your goals, dreams, aspirations. Next has the world, completion of a cycle, also recognition about like the one, right? Queen of Air, being clear about what it is that you want. Queen of Air, this is also about Athena, right? Strategies, right? She's got the owl with her. So this is all about like strategies and planning and all of that, right? So yes, good luck with all of that. That's what it is that I can tell you for today. There is a relationship out there for you, by the way, if that's what it is that you're looking for. We just got that like Three of Swords again with the whole like relationship thing. Your wish is out there somewhere, right? Your person, your situation. Again, Queen of Swords, right? See how she's like cutting off this guy's head there? Right? She's very clear about what she wants. She's very clear about what she doesn't want. Just saying. This is usually ruled by Libra, but it is an air sign like female. So just be aware of what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you're after, and don't be afraid to go after it. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, like, no, you're not really what I'm looking for, and you know what, like, I am tired of settling for less, and you know, so I wasn't thinking this was going to be a relationship type reading, but here we are. As they say, Queen of Wands, Queen of Fire. Yeah. So whether it is about, you know, looking for the relationship thing being like the one, or whether it is looking for the job that you can commit to, right? If the job isn't really working out for you, and you know, something that you really want more of a business that you can commit to, right? Because the cards that we have here, right, they're not, most of them are, you do have a lot of major arcana, right? Hermit, Temperance, the Fool, the Chariot, Haman, Judgment, right? So there are a lot of like big things that are trying to happen around here for you, and I do know that cards can be read multiple ways. So I can look at the same cards for a business and work-related things as I can for a relationship. So no matter what it is that you're looking for out there, it is going to be about independence. It is looking for something that is new. It is looking for something that represents loyalty to you, something that represents commitment to you. So, and it's a whole new thing going on here for you, and I think that this is something that is very much about this whole Pluto situation going on out there. It's affecting everybody differently, yet it's affecting everybody the same, because it is Pluto being retrograde, which is, Pluto is about transformation, but it is in the sign of Gemini, which is usually about like helping people, you know, but like helping the masses, not just about helping an individual. So with that, I just want to say thank you for being here. You can check out my website, which is edward13.com. This is my YouTube channel, Edward13R. I also have a TikTok page, which is also Edward13R. I do one-on-one readings, so you can reach out for that through my website if you'd like to do that. I do get paid for doing private readings, $75 for a half hour or $140 for an hour, just so we're clear about that. So I'm not reaching out to anybody, as they say. If you did get something out of this reading, if it spoke to you in some way, please click like, subscribe, like all of that. Click like, subscribe, follow, like all of that kind of like stuff that they say. So yes. Anyway, good luck with all of that, and we'll see you next time. I will be doing a reading in general. Spirit wants me to do that, but then I'll be doing a reading for the sign of Cancer. So, yeah. So good luck. Have fun in your world. Right? Don't forget to have fun in whatever it is that you're doing. So, yes. Good luck. Thank you.